Hello, welcome to Take 10 with Proverbs. Glad you could join us again today. Today we're going to be looking at the 13th chapter of Proverbs, and we're going to go ahead and pick out a few of the different verses and just kind of give some perspective or thought concept on them. So let's begin. Verse 1, the 13th chapter states, "A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not respond to rebuke. From the fruits of their lips people enjoy good things, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence. Those who guard their lips preserve their life, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. A sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desire of the diligent are fully satisfied. The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves. Righteousness guards a person of integrity, but the wicked overthrows a sinner. One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. A person's riches may ransom their life, but the poor cannot respond to the threatening rebuke. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. Where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Whoever scorns instruction will pay for it, but whoever respects a command is rewarded. The teachings of the wise is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snare of death. Good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction. All who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy brings healing. Whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored. A longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but a fool detests turning from evil. Walk with the wise and become wise, for the companions of fools suffers harm. Trouble pursues the sinner, but the righteous is rewarded with good things. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. An unplowed field produces food for the poor, but injustice sweeps it away. Whoever spares the rod hates their child, but the one who loves their child is careful to discipline them. The righteous eat till their heart's content, but the stomach of the wicked goes hungry. I said I'd just like to go through and I guess cherry pick a few verses, give a little thought on it, and hopefully the whole idea of me just kind of looking at a few and giving you some perspective is to help you perhaps look at a few verses, kind of look at the verses I'm looking at, think the way I'm thinking, and maybe those other verses that capture your attention, try to look at them and see what maybe I would be thinking or saying about that. Try to get my thought or perspective. You don't have to agree with it, or maybe you do. That's entirely up to you. My job is not to persuade anybody, but rather to just shed some light on how to be critical thinking or how to interpret some of the stuff that we read in Proverbs. Some of it is more advice, and others is more what I would say something that you practice daily. So, looking at verse 8 here, it says, a person's riches may ransom their life, but the poor cannot respond to a threatening rebuke. This isn't to say that to be wealthy or to be rich is bad. If you look in the side notes, it kind of indicates that, people that have wealth certainly can be more subjected to some kind of a scam or a scheme or an extortion, something of that nature, as to where if you're poor, then chances are you're not going to be bothered by anybody trying to kidnap you or somebody in your family members or extort you. I always say please don't do this. This is kind of some holy humor in a bad way. If you're really worried about your identity being stolen and somebody ruining your credit, go ahead and ruin it first, and you'll never have to worry about someone else doing it. Again, I'm not advising you to do that. I'm just saying that if you don't have much means, and that's what this is saying, if you don't have much means, you're probably not going to be bothered by people coming after your money. But beware, if you've got some wealth, just know that somebody out there somewhere may be gunning for you and trying to get something out of you. Verse 10, where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Boy, this one really hits home for me because, as you know, I've talked about taking counsel and getting advice and perspective in almost every video to some degree or another. And this is one of those things in Proverbs that's almost an absolute principle. I guarantee it. If you have somebody that does not want to hear or listen to perspective on something, it's because they're prideful. They think they've got it figured out. They don't need your help. You're the dumb one, and you shouldn't be offering them. But yet, what this is saying is a wise person will listen and then determine whether or not to take the advice and put it to use. I know people that are way more educated than me, way more wealthy than me, that will listen to something that I say and they will take that advice. And I know people that are way smarter than me and way more educated than me, and they may listen to what I have to say and not take that advice. And vice versa, somebody that's maybe not as educated or not as wealthy or whatever the case may be. One thing I've learned is people that are wise listen, give it consideration, and then act. So, if you're one of those people that think you know it all, I'm just going to be blunt here and say you're prideful. But if you're willing to take advice, if you're willing to listen, then I think you would be counted as a wise person. Unless you get a lot of wise counsel and you never act on any of it, then I would have to question that. Hope deferred makes a heart sick, but the longing fulfilled is a tree of life. How true is that? You could have hopes, desires, dreams, aspirations, and you feel that, someday, but yet when you go to the calendar and look, you see someday's not on there. So then you start to wonder after a while if it doesn't come to pass. And then the next thing you know, you can start to feel defeated. You can start to wonder if even what you was thinking or what you sensed, maybe that dream, that vision, that prophecy that was given to you, whether or not there was any truth to that, or if it was just a bad plate of spaghetti or a dream that had no bearing, a prophecy that was missed, a hope that was just that, a hope. But yet, how happy is the one who sees that dream, vision, prophecy, longing fulfilled. And so that's what it's saying here is if your hope has been deferred, your heart's going to be discouraged. Go to prayer, take it to God, ask Him if your right heart is in the right spot, if this is really something you're supposed to be doing, and if it is, to let you know, give you a sign of some sort. I've heard a lot of people dog about, well, you shouldn't be asking God for signs. God is fine with you asking for signs, as long as you don't ask Him every day for a sign for something. He expects you to grow in your knowledge and wisdom. But when you come to a crossroads in your life where you need some answers, He is absolutely willing and fine with you asking Him, show me what way to go, what to do. Is this right? Give me hope. Give me life. Encourage me, Lord. Give me some perspective. And He will. Somewhere along the way, shortly after that prayer has been asked, if it's earnest, He'll give you an answer. You're going to have to be tuned in, not reading into anything, but when it comes to you, you have to know that you've heard it, or that you've seen it, or recognize it. You know, the book of Proverbs is a book that is just that. They're Proverbs. They are full of principles of how to live life. When you can understand what the proverb is saying, and you can then start to order your life and the practice of your daily habits according to it, it will take time, but you will grow wiser and you will be better for it. Better for it doesn't necessarily mean richer, although you could create more wealth by practicing good financial habits. Growing wiser doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to graduate with a PhD, but you're going to know how to navigate life, because that's really what Proverbs is about. It helps us to understand how to order our days and to do things according to God's good, perfect, and pleasing will, so that we can have a life that brings joy and happiness. But unfortunately, in order to get to that spot, it causes some pain and grief. So I would just like to encourage you to continue to watch. I know, as I've said before, Proverbs is very redundant, but sometimes we're just so thick-skulled that we need to hear the same thing over and over and over for it to sink in. So I hope this video has helped you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you think there's somebody out there that could use anything that I've had to say in this video, please feel free to send it to them in one of your social media platforms, repost it, whatever works for you. God bless and have a great day.